We are back with cat calls and stankin' draws. I'm putting my niece up here a little closer so she can read the chat and talk some stuff with me. And I can kind of man the little controls here. And we're going to do part two. Let me check this out real quick. Did I make a new one? I made a new one. All right. So we back with the MC playing in the background. You know how we do. So we was talking about, what was we talking about? Cat calling. Why we can't go nowhere in peace.
Yeah.
That's what the hell we was talking about.
People hollering out the window with people horns and stuff.
Right. So I'm gonna fall back a little bit this evening, and I'm just jumping in and out here because I know Niecy got a lot to say about that. Where is the damn? Go to another one. So you go ahead. I'm just, I'm fiddling. Just.
Yeah, I think we left off earlier on that person that was talking about being a single father or something like that. When we were talking about all the little cat calling and all that stuff.
Yeah.
How guys try to, rather a woman get abortion or whatever, or birth control shots or whatever, rather than just using a condom or getting a vasectomy. Like I say, I give it up for single fathers because not very many guys step up and take control, do whatever they have to do. And the guys who take kids in as their own, even though they're not, because people don't get that every day.
Right.
And I was just like, okay. And then some people, I don't think guys realize how much the female ends up being damaged, like miscarriages and abortions and all that stuff. I don't think they realize what that does to females. Like, even if she doesn't act like it or say it, she's still damaged in a way. That's a very hard thing to go through.
Yep.
Even though it probably would be hard, of course, with having to do all that comes with having a kid, but when she loses that child or the guy forces her to get an abortion, I don't think they realize how much damage they do, and that takes a lot out of her, I think. It doesn't, not a real cool feeling. But of course, guys don't have to go through that, so they would never know what that's like, what it feels like. It's like that really destroys a part of her.
Yep.
And in terms, that'll really damage her and the people around her. That brings them down too. Some females have that effect on other people, especially if they're around people that can easily pick up on that stuff.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's true. It's an emotional struggle to get through all of that. And, a lot of people don't understand how deep it goes, because it's not just ridding yourself or losing something. It's a whole human being, and there's emotions attached to that human being who's separate from you. And it's a change. It alters your psyche in a very, very profound, traumatic way. And when you hear stuff like, single mother so-and-so, or y'all degenerate women having bastards, stuff like that, Imagine carrying another human inside of you and you're not emotionally ready to do that. You know, as much as you realize the bad choice that you made by having unprotected sex with someone who was equally unready and ill prepared to be a parent, you know, it happens and it's a reality. And I like how these dudes and some women do it too, you know, flounce around and portray the image of perfection.
Yeah.
And they say, well, I don't have no kids. So, you know, I'm not a bastard baby maker, or you got all these kids out of wedlock, or so forth and so on. You know, that's very damaging. And, you know, for you to say that about a parent who is doing the best with what they have, and I really feel sorry for any children that they might have.
True.
That's how I see it too, because um, I have people in my family who have said stuff like that, you know, and now they are parents and they avoid me. They just avoid me at all costs. And you can tell they want to kind of ask for advice, but at the same time they remember how they treated me when I was carrying my children, you know, and I chose to stay unmarried for a very long time. And this is why. Because of people like that, you know, that we saw in the chat. And it's real. It's real life. And just think about it. If you have children, as a man or father, and someone assumes something about your children, you're not there to hear it. They hear it though when you're absent, or you chose to leave those children with the mother and walk away. People are saying the same thing about your children, if you even know about them. You know, because a lot of dudes don't know they have kids.
Yeah, because there's some females that don't have a kid by a dude and won't even tell them.
So that's wrong on both fronts, you know. And but the cat calling is where it starts. You know, a lot of young girls and older women too have attention deficit. They are seeking validation and attention, and sometimes that's the only type of attention that they receive is dysfunctional. And they go up and down the street to and from whatever they're doing, and whatever little validation of their presence they can get, they latch on to that first person that gives it. That's why it's so important to talk about it and make it known what's unpleasant. You know, the things that you don't like, the type of approach that you will not accept from anybody. It don't have to be just a guy, a random wolf howling at the moon just because he sees a female, you know,
in a dress,
unsuspecting, you know, woman that he feels is his, that's another target of prey. You have to, again, teach people how to treat you. And even if it's just in passing, it's a way that we have to, sadly, we held to a different standard, because you carry yourself a certain way to where people begin to understand your energy better. And they say, okay, well, I might be able to get away with it over here on this side of town, you know? Yeah. But then when I come over on this side of town, I run into people like these women with that same garbage behavior, you know?
Like the saying goes, what you allow will continue.
That's right. That is very true. Very true. So we're not gonna stay too long because I'm getting kind of sleepy myself. I don't know about you, but I wanted to have some more fun, you know, and just pop up here and finish up some of the stuff that we touched on earlier because it was pretty live. We was having a good little conversation. So is there anything else you wanted to add about that cat calls and stanking Drawz?
Well, as far as the parenting thing goes, like now there's males that hold their children against females too. They use their children against females. I've never understood that on the female side, especially if they have a male that wants to be there, Because as I'm sure everybody knows, not all children get that privilege.
Mhm.
They don't, that doesn't happen a lot where the male is willing to do what he's supposed to do. So want to step up and want to be there, and some females will keep their child from them and use them against them. I've never understood that. Like, why? Now, I know it's a good thing because they could be keeping that child from a lot of stuff and from being damaged in a lot of ways. But on the flip side of that, I've still never understood why and how somebody can do that to someone.
And children are used as pawns. You and I know that very well. I was used as a pawn most of my youth, and you shared stories of the same, similar, back and forth tug of war. You feel like you're more of an object of somebody's wrath or revenge. Like women have children to spite the father. And then they begin to resent the child because it didn't having the child didn't have the effect on the father that they thought or they planned for.
That they want.
Yeah.
They didn't get what they wanted out of it.
Now you're here. You're looked upon as a burden by the very person that birthed you. I tell the story a lot that I was the act right baby, for my parents. My mom was very, very broken when she conceived me. And she really just was done. Like she checked out. So it was like, now I'm trapped again, so my parents are still married. They still had the same view on that are born are not married. And it's really sad and it's ignorant to, take that out on the child. Ask for that journey.
I couldn't picture ever having kids and doing some of the stuff that I've seen or heard of. I don't know. I just couldn't picture ever doing anything as far as some things that go on with other children and stuff to my own kids.
Yeah. That's how I learned a lot on how to communicate better with my own and you guys, my nieces and stuff, because I remember how it was, coming up as a youth with or without children. I remember how it was. And I remember that a lot of people, look at you as insignificant. You don't have a voice. You don't have anything meaningful to add to the family, to any conversations, to anything, because you are younger or you are young or you have experience to be able to speak on things, but you're observing your life. You're living through the life at your point stage in life, whatever age you are, 19, 21, 16, whatever. You begin to develop your own thoughts. You start to think independently of those base principles. The house training, the manners, please and thank you. You start to think beyond that little scope. And then you start to pinpoint like, okay, I know dad said, but I don't never see dad do.
True.
Or big sister told me I can't. You know what I'm saying? And you start to question and put the dots together and go, whoa, wait a minute.
Yep, I think I had done that with everyone from the time I was 5.
So if I'm so insignificant, how come y'all are stifling me, but you still practicing the same thing you say that you
tell me not to do?
You don't stand for these things, but you practicing them. And you telling me all for the sake of love, I shouldn't explore in the same way you did and learn like you did by making my own mistakes and being guided through it. Or sometimes you have to back up off your children and let them bump their head a little bit And then you can come in and reteach and help, them situate and straighten out whatever it is. And, by far are young people stupid.
Very stupid.
But their children are very smart, and we don't give them enough credit because they might not be able to verbalize and vocalize how they feel and what they see. Once they get older, they will read your title clear, especially if you live a hypocritical life, in front of their face or in church or whatever you do. Your actions must match your words, especially when you're raising children. If they find out, when mom was pregnant with me, she hurried up and got married. That's not my dad, but she's forcing me to call this person dad. And then she's telling me not to have kids before it's time or before I get married or before I finish college or whatever. But damn it, she did it.
Yeah, because I don't even know my mom and my dad graduated college. They met at college. I know my sister, she was an uh-oh baby. I think I might have been one too, I'm not sure. But he was, the college that they went to, he wants me to go to. And he was telling me how they met up and everything. They met at college.
Mm-hmm.
And they just went from there for a while, I guess. And then everything went downhill.
Yeah, because ill prepared, and that rough, rugged journey that you had up until now. That's the reason. People don't want to own it, and because to own it then requires change. If you say, okay, you know what you're doing, you see the damage you're doing, so how can we get the tools in order to change that so we can do better for each other and understand each other better? Then like I said, you have these ignorant people on here who make the comments they make, about that journey. When if you change shoes and you swap places with them, they probably
wouldn't be able to handle it.
Right.
And then like another thing where he was talking, whoever that was talking about what men gotta go through versus females having to go through. Like they don't. And the part where he was talking about rape, like men don't have to worry about if they're gonna be sexually assaulted and sexually abused. They don't have to worry about that type of stuff.
Yeah. Adult males, you do have the prison system, but they're inside. That's still rape. You don't know what that person went through before they got there.
Yeah, like guys usually, they don't have to worry about, okay, I'm having to stay here. Am I going to be, is somebody going to be trying to sexually abuse me? Or am I going to be okay? Am I going to have some type of weapon or something on me?
Mm-hmm.
To make sure that nothing happens? To make sure this person doesn't try anything? Like, guys don't usually have to worry about that.
Yeah. Especially just walking down the street, to the corner store. Just something people do every day. But women, we have to prepare ourselves for stuff like that.
Yeah, like guys can just get up and throw on whatever they want and go. Females can't do that.
Yeah. And we have to be so conscious and aware of our surroundings. Is somebody hiding in the bushes? Is somebody going to just roll up on me and plow me over with a car just because they want to, drag my carcass into the back seat? And then once they finish, savagely attacking me, will I wind up in a dumpster somewhere or missing limbs and shit? Because, I decided to wear a dress that day.
Yeah, like men don't have to worry about, okay, can I walk here? Or can I be going to deal with a friend without a car pulling up and people jumping out and grabbing me, trying to do something? Guys don't have to worry about that stuff.
Yeah. And then victim blaming too is another big issue I have with a lot of American males, misogynist males. You know, if a woman is attacked or if she is preyed upon in any way and tried to be made out a victim, and it's always flipped over on the woman, you know, who has been targeted and abused. It's like, well, what were you doing? What did you do? What brought this on? You know, what triggered this person to feel entitled to attack you? Like, how am I supposed to be in the mind of a psycho? Like, how am I supposed to know what triggered this person to come after me and do all these horrible things to me? Like, how are you going to even have me responsible? Of course, we do put ourselves in dangerous situations, both men and women. You know, sometimes we make a bad decision or a snap decision. We might panic and say, oh, I might as well do this. And then we wind up in a situation we can't quite get ourselves out of. And it's really, really fucked up. But I'm talking about just straight up predators, like cat calls and shit like that. Like, I just don't get it. Like, how is it her fault because she left the house with a certain piece of clothing on or a certain demeanor about herself to warrant, you know, just being intruded upon without her permission, and to be blamed and say, oh, well, that could have been your fault. Why can't we have the awareness of impulse control? Where everybody is held to a standard to govern yourself accordingly, you know, situational behavior appropriate to the situation. If you're driving down the street, so you see a woman walking down the street, it's just really inappropriate to be howling out the window and honking your horn and shit, like, you know, like she's a broadside of a barn blocking traffic. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why are you blowing your horn at me, dude?
Or why are you barking or howling out the window?
Or hissing, whistling, like, I don't know.
I was in chorus in high school, and I remember my chorus teacher, Mr. Brooks, he was talking about that to the guys, and they were basically catcalling and making a whole bunch of noise, and he was like, y'all really think y'all gonna get women like that? And he was like, y'all are, I don't know what type of women y'all think y'all gonna give that, because a woman is not gonna go for that. And he was like, I guarantee you go to a woman and you do that, you're not gonna get any attention from them. You're just gonna look at you like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah. And you know, the thing, the persistence is what also drives me up the wall. You know, even after like another guy explains to them, like, dude, that's really a turnoff, they do it anyway. Like, they just like, or whatever, you know, it worked for me last week and I did it 20 times and it worked 20 times in a row, so I'm not stopping. And then run up on the wrong woman, get their ego bruised, and now all women are bitches. You know, that's that monolithic mindset, sexism, misogyny does to some of these dudes. Yeah.
I don't even know if I can call half of them men anymore, because they act more like, they act less than animals, some of them.
Yeah, savages. That's how I see it.
Some of them act more immature than children.
Yep.
Like when I was staying where I was staying, and he used to be being so immature.
And that was an older guy, like, He had grandchildren, didn't he?
I don't know if he got grandchildren, but he got children.
And they
He got like 5.
Yeah, it's really it's.
And I was like, well, like I'm young enough to be your child. I don't know.
Yeah, that's really.
His ex-fiance is probably young enough to be his child.
Wow.
The other 2 females that was there was probably young enough to be his child. Though they were both there at different times, but
still, that pathology is just not healthy, and there's something going on mentally and emotionally with an individual who would behave that way.
It's definitely got to be something wrong, and it's like his family doesn't notice anything, or they know what's going on and they just turn their back to it.
Because a lot of people don't know that dysfunctional behavior, that type of dysfunctional behavior, they don't see it as dysfunctional because it's, so deeply rooted.
It's probably bringing money in or something.
It's deeply rooted into their psyches to where any objection is looked at as abnormal. You know what I'm saying? Like, how dare you not let me be a pervert to you? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, what do you mean I can't?
And I've never understood how someone can do what they do and then go to church and actually show up in church.
And do it in
church. Show up in church not too long after doing what they've done.
Yeah.
And just sit there like they've never done anything.
And repeat the same thing over and over and over.
And so I was just like, okay. Because he found out what I was saying and pretty much started denying it. And I was like, well, there's really no need to go and speak out because he's going to say nothing ever happened. But then his ex-wife already knows. His ex-wife knew something was going on from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's really telling. It is very telling. And it's something to be aware of. You got to constantly keep watching your back. Watch who you trust. It's really not a good idea to be alone with certain people who have really odd, outlandish behavior. Who feel the need to always need validation from your presence, or trying to, manipulate you into some type of really sick connection that they have established in their imagination with you that you know nothing about.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa, I didn't know it was like that. Really? Okay, well, let me run the opposite direction. Yeah.
And that's sort of the same thing online. It's like people have a thing online and you never even know it.
Yeah. Until you post something to the contrary. Like if you say, for example, start dating a boy, a new guy, and this particular person was watching you and, pretty much trolling your page silently. Yeah. And as soon as you say, oh, I'm dating somebody or whatever, they have this ultimate hissy fit meltdown, and they try to make you responsible for their delusions.
Yeah, like I had an ex of mine. I'm not going to say no names, but they used to watch my page. And that's how he knew that me and a friend was keeping in contact or whatever, and that friend was never deleted. And I didn't know until that person had kicked me and we were arguing, and I was like, what are you watching my page? And he never responded, but then that's when I found out that he was watching my page, and I was like,
weirdo, El Creepo.
I was like, wow. And I was like, how are you going to say you don't like someone and you don't even know them? You haven't taken the time to reach out to them or get to know them. How do you just assume you don't like somebody? You'll never know until you reach out.
And then, like, if you do, and the answer is no, like, keep it pushing. Don't linger around and try to fucking make the person miserable and torture them into submission because you can't accept healthy rejection. It's like rejection is a part of life.
Yeah, and then like they'll get mad if they finally do reach out to someone and that person is just like, I don't want to deal with you because they got off to a bad start.
Yeah. It's interesting to watch and observe it, and it's disgusting to have to constantly endure it and be subjected to some shit by force that you didn't invite. Howling out the window and screaming and shit, or just like having that creepy stare that they do.
Yeah.
You just feel like you have to take a shower afterwards. Just feel disgusting with that type of energy around you.
And it's just like, what are they looking at? Like they've never seen another human being before, the opposite sex or something.
Mm-hmm. So what would you like to tell the viewers that are closer to your age? Because there's a variety of people that watch my videos from time to time.
For the females my age, younger than me, closer to my age, I would definitely like to say, watch out, be more careful of who you surround yourself with and the people that you deal with, whether staying, friendship, relationship, just any type of connection to people you have. Be mindful, be careful, be safe.
That's awesome. Awesome advice.
Because you never know what can happen.
Yeah, and this goes for us old ladies too, us old hag bitches who act like we ain't got good sense sometime, and we like to, dabble in the cougar pond or whatever y'all do. It's crazy young folks and crazy old folks too. And it's nothing worse than an old fool. And having attention just for the sake of having it, whether it be cat calls or, having this fetish for falling in love, the idea of love versus true love
with someone way younger than them.
Oh, goodness, that can really turn your life upside down too. I mean, it's good and bad to everything. And I don't knock anybody. If you like May, December romances and stuff like that, hey, more power to you. But be healthy and make good choices, and stop trying to relive your goddamn youth through these young motherfucking boys, because a lot of them just are not equipped to be in a relationship with someone who has more life experience than them. Some of them are just not. And it's a heavy load to take on somebody who has that experience and who just is more set in their way and more grounded as to who they are and what they will and will not accept when it comes to the opposite sex or even the same gender. Like, because women do it to each other. Like, I see women harassing and heckling other women a lot too.
True. I see that too.
Because they gave them a look, or they may have wore the same shoes they wore that day, or, whatever reason they feel threatened enough to have to verbally assault somebody who's minding their fucking business.
Or attack.
Right.
I want to. But I would definitely like to tell the females, especially if they've been through what I've been through or haven't, to try to keep them away from having to go through what I'm going through with all of that, the whole sexual assault and all that. Just be careful.
That's awesome.
You can't trust everybody. You can't be around everybody. I'm sure everyone knows by now, you can't make everybody happy. You can't please everybody. You just gotta watch the people you surround yourself with, people that surround themselves with people that you surround yourself with, you gotta really watch and look out and be careful for that.
Yes, ma'am.
Because things can happen out of nowhere that you would never plan.
Some people, like, they scheme and plot against you, for they'll come up, approach you, and they present themselves friendly, and they get to where they feel you've let your guard down just enough, where the trust is growing enough to be candid and open with this person, and then they really move in for the kill as soon as they find you might be having a vulnerable moment.
Yeah, and I would advise females, if somebody, a mutual friend, tells you something about another friend, if they try to give you a heads up or warning, please take that. Just take that in and be mindful and be careful and keep it as a warning, because that can really come in handy, keep you out of a lot of situations.
Yeah, because that's the first thing people holler. You just hating. You just mad because, and I have seen grown women get into a lot of trouble, not that you're not grown, but, women with a little bit more life experience, a little age, a little bit older. Can't tell them nothing. And then they always wonder why they find themselves in such traumatic. Right, exactly. Because they think everybody's hating when they see something. You, from an objective standpoint, on the outside looking in, you like taking notes. You looking over everything that's going on with this person and why they have so many issues and so much drama, and they keep repeating the same cycle over and over again. And every time somebody tries to give them a true warning from concern, you are the hater.
And the same thing goes for males too. Like, be mindful, be careful. If you feel something is not right with a person,
run.
Or the person that they are around, you need to do everything you can to stay away from that person or those people. Especially if a mutual person warns you about another person and you feel that one person that you're dealing with doesn't choose the best people to be around. If someone else tells you you gotta watch the people that someone you're dealing with, you gotta watch them, because they don't really choose the best people to be around at times. It could clearly be something wrong, and you might want to take that into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
And just stay away, as far away as you possibly can.
That is very eloquent, beautiful, intelligent advice. I'm so glad we decided to do this again.
Yeah.
I'm really sleepy. I hate to do that because I really love
and
but we got to get going. I'm sleepy. And we got food.
Oh, yeah.
We got food. We're going to stuff our face.
And then probably go to bed.
Yeah. Or sit up in the dark and talk more. Who knows? Maybe watch a scary movie. I don't know.
And if you get the chance to get away, whatever you got to do, just get away. However you do it.
And stay away.
Don't
go back.
Stay away. Don't go back. If anything, have the police go for you or someone else.
Yeah, witnesses are good. Preferably, a trusted source. You don't want to go back to your abusive situation if you can help it.
Get a protected person, but maybe not too protective. I had a protected person in mind, but then I kind of even was like, I don't know about that. That person's a little protective.
Right. So lovely. You want to take us out of here?
Yes.
And say whatever for final words.
I hope everyone has had a good day. Have a good night. Safe day, safe night. Be careful. Be mindful. Be safe. And with that being said, good night or good morning.
She's awesome, isn't she? She's an awesome woman. So we love you. Peace out. One unity, one family. Cat calls stinking draw. Stop hollering at the window at people. We don't want to hear that shit.
You're humans, not animals. Please act like it.
Good morning night.